is take off the lens cap.
I was going to point that
Thank
out.
you.
I figured eventually.
Thank you. You were being very polite, weren't you? Now, you guys are celebrities, and so this is paparazzi time, and you're smiling like you're just having a blast. Like you didn't just spend $5 million. You just made $5 million.
We are so broke now.
Because I know that's
So broke.
We are so.
you're so screwed. Yeah, well,
We don't have any money left for art anymore.
right.
We
that's
spend it
the
all on
downside.
building. It's going to be a really experimental project.
There's room in the back for a trailer home.
You know, it's kind of interesting though because. You know, you guys have invested quite a bit of your own personal resources in this, right?
Yes.
Not something you do every day.
No.
5 to what, 7 point something?
Not
It
all
sounds
at one
like
time.
not all at one time, please.
That's
We're here with Fred and Laura Bidwell from the Fred and Laura Ruth Bidwell Foundation, and it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Thank you guys, first of all, from the community for what you've done here, because we do owe you a big thank you. It's quite a remarkable move. It really is when you think about it, right? Because this is not something that Cleveland is used to. Collecting photography, first of all, has not been a huge strength here, but you guys have been doing it for a long time. Laura, you're a graphic artist yourself, a designer, right?
Yes.
Fred, you've been in the business. I assume that's where it started?
Yeah.
Was from your work in advertising?
I
and
started out
graphic
as a
design?
photographer before I got into the agency business, so we've been doing this a long time.
And where did the collecting start, Laura? I mean, how long have you guys been doing
We
that?
got married in '91, and we were sitting around and thought, we could actually collect. We had a few pieces.
couple
Let's
$100
buy a
here, right?
few more. Why not?
And then that just goes on for years, right? And like you say, it becomes an addiction almost.
Yeah.
And then
It does.
you find you've got a huge collection all of a sudden. Is that what happened?
Exactly. Really down in the basement, in the house next door, actually at the Inter-Museum Conservation Association across the
ICA,
street.
right down the street.
We realized almost all of our collection was in storage. So we realized, wow, we've got to get a way to get it out there.
You got to do something about this.
And so that was the beginning of this idea.
Right. And you've had a great run here, I have to say. Malone, advertising, and now J. Walter Thompson coming in, correct?
Yes.
JWT Action. And congratulations on all that, because so many people have not made that transition, as you know, in the field. But you've successfully done that. And now you can make some interesting moves. Why the move to Cleveland? You've been so involved in Akron for so many years, and a lot of the folks you've hired have been down there, and really hundreds of people that you've employed over the years.
Well, obviously we love Akron, and my business is still in Akron.
Exactly.
It's going to stay in Akron, but a big part of the insight of being around here for a while is that this town is really a region. And you can't really think about Akron without thinking about Cleveland. Half of our employees at JWT Action live in Cleveland, come down here. Half of our friends are in Cleveland, and what's really magic about Northeast Ohio is the fact that there's Akron, there's Cleveland, the west side and the east side. It all works together.
That's right.
And gives it the critical mass that makes it special. If you partition it off and think of each area, each town as separate, it diminishes it. And so putting this project here was really all about our vision of wanting to connect all of these hot spots all around the community together, and because we believe that more equals more, and the more hot spots you add, the greater the whole community as a whole is.
It's a critical mass thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because really one thing's not going to do. We got a great museum of art, but the story's not done, is it? Because that's just one place, and you need the whole community. Talk about this place being called a transformation station, Laura. What are you expecting to transform? It's going to be, first of all, essentially a branch of the Cleveland Museum of Art, and
Half the year.
Half the year, and the other half you guys are going to program it yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you going to bring in? What kind of artists are you looking to bring in?
Well, aside from our stuff seeing the light of day, I'm hoping to. We are very interested in emerging and young artists,
Right.
and I would hope that this space would become an incubator almost. I would love to see a salon-style events and showings where you have the public coming in and engaging in artists and hearing about what they're thinking about, not just when they're finished with the product. We want it to be a lively, living space.
And this is part of the neighborhood here. You know, Frank Jackson said that it's about creating neighborhoods of choice. I thought that was kind of interesting, that you know, people choose where to live and whether to stay or leave, right? You guys have made a home here and decided to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. What's great about Cleveland, of course, is there are lots of choices you could make, but this neighborhood's truly special in that it has both the intimacy of a neighborhood, but it's clearly a city. And there's really a cultural community being built here, and it's really fun to be a part of that.
Talk about this space itself. It's an amazing venue. Transformation station. It's gone through a couple of different lives, but it's a typical post-industrial space.
Well, it's interesting,
region,
even though it was really built as a transformer station for the trolley line, really for the last 50 years or so, it's had art in its bones because it's been an artist foundry. So we're really kind of continuing a trajectory it's already been on.
There's a really huge crane inside. We got to tell people this if they haven't seen it. I mean, that thing could lift how many tons?
It's that crane can lift 15 tons. So we're looking for maybe a Richard Serra sculpture or something we could hoist up there.
You got to hoist something on that, don't you?
Yeah.
And what does this mean for you guys personally? I mean, when it really comes down to it, we need more people to step up like you have and invest in the community and to decide to really make a stand. What made you do this? And are you feeling a little queasy right now? Or
I think he's in shock. I know I'm in shock. But we love art. I mean, art is our lives. Art is our passion. And to have our own space is something I never thought would ever happen in my life. And I know this sounds noble and selfless, but it's a privilege for me. And I think it's a privilege for Mr. Fred as well.
I think so.
Well, and, you know, it's really a great way to start perhaps a new chapter in our lives. Living is all about change and doing something new, and even though it is a bit of a scary leap, it's one that we're getting a lot of encouragement on. So I'm confident we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and this sort of absurd, artificial east-west thing that County Commissioner Fitzgerald talked about earlier. You guys are broadening that to not just an artificial east-west thing. It's an artificial regional thing too, right? I mean, isn't that what we're all about?
There is this, as Akronites, we're more exposed to this crazy north-south divide, which is just as artificial.
Yes, and absurd.
And we're hoping we're going to break that down. It really is, there's no reason for it to exist in this town, and hopefully in one small way we're breaking that barrier.
Well, it's a pretty big way if you ask me, and congratulations on it. We're looking at what, about a year? That's a pretty fast timeline to get opened?
Yeah. Well, these projects tend to go on, but yes, I think a year is a pretty good goal, and I think we'll get close to it.
Thank you guys so much for taking time to talk with us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to following up on the project as it progresses.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland. Forward to following things. All things.